If you are looking to get into it, I'm going to take these words right from my husband. When I told him that I wanted to do this thing, I wanted to get into this media space, but I was scared that I didn't have any connections. I didn't know Oprah. I don't know any of these people. He told me, looked me dead in my face, and said, just do it. I'm like, how? How am I do it? Like, I had so many questions. He like, just do it. If you got to pull your phone out, if you got to go ask your family members for their old camera that you see is collecting dust, if you got to go just spend your tax check or whatever you got to do to make this thing happen, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Working professionals, creators, entrepreneurs, I need y'all to tap in. Listen, if you're tired of fighting distractions at home or bouncing around from coffee shop to coffee shop, then Bamboo has exactly what you need to be able to lock in and get your work done. In addition to having flexible meeting rooms and event space, they've got a community that actually supports you while you're in the building. So if you're ready to lock in some space right now, guess what? I got you. If you head over to bamboocowork.com right now and use the promo code BlackFriday20, you'll get 20% off any of your rental bookings. Don't waste any more time. Head over to bamboocowork.com and take care of that. Use that promo code. I'll be seeing you at a Bamboo location sometime soon. Now, let's go ahead and get back into the episode. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, make sure you send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones so that we keep this thing going. Now that we got that business out of the way, we have another cultural storyteller in the building all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Miss Kayla Lewis Allen. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be back in the city of Detroit. I love it here.
Yes, ma'am. And we appreciate you pulling up on Black Friday podcast while you're in town. Yeah. And before we go any further, what brought you in town this time?
I said I need to get to Detroit for Charity's show tonight. For lovers only.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my husband came down here and was like, we about to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We about to have a good time.
Very dope. And so because I'm working this evening, I won't get a chance to see the show. So y'all have to hold it down for me.
I got you.
But yeah, I know it's going to be amazing. I love the rollout that she's had and how she's been able to curate the experience, some of the activations that they're going to have there. I'm jealous I ain't going to be able to make it, but I got a chance to see her yesterday during 313 Day. So that kind of make up for
You'll
it.
be there in spirit. You'll be there in spirit.
Exactly. So, Kayla, you have been a digital storyteller for some time now, and I would love to be able to start the conversation with, for you, where did you when did that start for you in terms of wanting to be intentional about storytelling for the culture, for our people, and then do so in an entertaining way? Because you have different mediums in terms of how you do it. But I want to know, when did you decide to pick up a camera and start this journey?
It was really in 2019. My husband proposed to me. No, we got married in 2019. And when he proposed, I was like, oh my God, am I ready to be somebody's wife, right? And I started to journal and ask myself these deep questions that I hadn't asked myself before, like, what makes me nervous about marriage? What does a good wife look like? And all of these things. How did I see love shown in my household growing up? And I brought those questions back to my husband. Like, we've never had these conversations before, like ever. We haven't had these conversations. And a lot of other couples don't have these deep conversations. It's usually, what's your favorite color? Where you like to go eat at? And that's like as deep as the conversations get when you're dating. So I was like, it would be nice to get other couples' perspectives on these things. Like, how was conflict handled in your household growing up and all of those things. And I reached out to my community, reached out to some couples that I knew that were either fresh in a relationship, been married for some time, and we came up and developed Relationship Goals, the series. And that has taken us over the last 6 years of doing content. Relationship Goals, the series, we've talked about romantic relationships, familial relationships, platonic relationships. And our last season was co-parenting dynamics. And it really just shows people like, hey, you ain't the only one going through these relationship issues, and they kind of start when you are young.
And so was it based on what came out first, the book or your series,
The
Relationship Goals?
series, yep.
Okay.
So the journal was an extension of it. It's a writing prompt journal. So it has a bunch of the writing prompts, a bunch of the questions that we ask the couples in the show. We have them in a journal form so people can do the work at home, like just by themselves. Like, okay, that's a parallel to my lifestyle. Let me kind of journal this thing out and unpack it for myself.
Got it. I was trying to see if Michael Todd owe y'all some money.
Oh,
so, like,
yeah.
about telling Michael Todd, pay up.
Listen. I'm like, hey, put me in the algorithm with Michael Todd, just keep pushing us up to the top.
For sure. And so tell us about Full Circle Entertainment. Was that the beginning of Full Circle in terms of Relationship Goals series?
Yes. So I was like, okay, we have this show, Relationship Goals, the series. We need a place to house it. Like, we need a place to be able to send people to, and we developed Full Circle Television. People ask me where that name came from, and I really can't think of it. I feel like it just like landed on my lap, and I'm like, this is it. I want people to leave greater than they came. I want people to leave with an aha moment. I want people to leave with some kind of insight about themselves. So that's kind of where Full Circle Television got its start with Relationship Goals series.
Gotcha. And so with Full Circle Television, what other programs do you have as a part of the lineup?
So we have Relationship Goals, the series. We have Relationship Goals, the podcast, and we've extended it out into a whole ecosystem, essentially. Started making merch because I'm like, these productions don't pay for themselves. So we started making FCTV merch. We started building community and doing FCTV events like FCTV Game Night, We Be Abroad, where we take people out of the country. So we've like really developed like a full-on ecosystem. Like, we do dinners and we get together with our community and just bring people in along this journey with us.
And is FCTV, is that is that the only thing you're committed to right now, that you're dedicated to?
Yep. Full Circle Television. And like I said, with all of those additional arms. So the events arm, the podcast arm, the television show arm, the merch arm. So all of this is branching off of Full Circle Television.
So I'll ask you one more question, and then we're going to go into my favorite segment in Black Fridays. But I would love to know, so given you had mentioned that in 2019, you started the Relationship Goals series, and then you had just got proposed to, you was on your way to becoming married. At that period in time, how did you start an adventure into entertainment, in media? How did that correlate with the life changes that you had going on at that time?
I think it really showed me that one thing that I sat down and did at the top of that year was made a vision board. And I know that could be cliche for a lot of people, but my vision board was really to help me not lose myself as I was getting married. So getting back to myself, I went to art schools growing up. I performed all over the state of Wisconsin. I danced, I acted. I did all of these things in like the entertainment space. And I was like, I need to get back to that because I'm afraid that when you get married, a lot of women lose their self, they lose their spark, and they just become a wife, a mother, and that's it for them. And I knew I didn't want that. So I think that creating and developing Relationship Goals, the series, along with Full Circle Television, helped me evolve into the woman that I am today. And it made me stay true to myself and confident in myself, and also took me like back to my roots as a child, which makes me very, very happy.
That's dope. And then, as you had mentioned earlier, were y'all able to take some of those nuggets from like conversations you were having with these couples and then like, okay, we might want to put that in our tool belt?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen so many couples like have aha moments on the couch with us like, wait, we never talked about that. Oh, this is good. And I won't ever forget. I remember we had our parents on, or we had guests on with their parents. So they were around our age in their 30s with their parents on. And they were like dealing with some situation where there was like a death in the family, and the family was kind of tearing apart. It wasn't until they sat on our couch and had these aha moments where they was like, I didn't see it from your perspective, and I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to be there for you the way that I needed to. So let me do that now. And that happened literally on our couch, which I thought was beautiful.
That's dope. So we definitely going to get more into that. But before we get to that point, I got to introduce you to my favorite part, which is Freestyle Fridays. So you ain't come all the way from Milwaukee with nothing. We're going to have to get some bars from you. We're going to have to get like six. We got to get 16, 8, 4, whatever you can.
I'm like,
Whatever
I
you
ain't got
can.
no bars.
I mean, you came in town to see Charity. You gotta
Listen.
you gotta sing, do a poem, interpretive dance.
Listen. I ain't got no bars for you. Yeah, I don't have any bars.
Okay, all right. All right, so we can just do this. We can do our rapid fire questions then.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so tell me what's one thing that you would want people to know about Milwaukee that's never been before.
Oh, I will want them to know that it's Black, first of all, because people do not think that Black people live in Milwaukee.
Okay.
We there.
Okay.
We there.
I didn't think that at first, but then I started to hear through the grapevine. I'm like, okay, I understand Milwaukee actually is Black.
Yeah, we in there for sure. The whole Milwaukee is Black.
Okay, bet. And then what would you say, you've been to Detroit a few times now, more than a few times. What is something that you enjoy about the city?
I love how true to Blackness this city is. When I say there are pictures of Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder all over the place. Like, you hear our music, like you feel us when you walk in through Detroit. And I think that's just so beautiful. I call y'all the Up North Atlanta. I love Atlanta because Atlanta is Black. Like, people just doing well. And I feel like y'all are the Up North Atlanta for sure.
For sure. They say we cousins.
Y'all are. Yeah.
For sure. What would you say what are you listening to right now in terms of music? What you got in rotation?
My baby, my son, he's 16 years old. He is new upcoming rapper, Lemosky. I'm listening to him through and through. He talks a lot about his struggles with mental health. He also talks about just like, kid stuff, but it's so insightful and he brings so much passion to his music, just talking about the way that he's navigating through life and all of the things that kids got to deal with today that a lot of parents ain't paying attention to.
Shout your son out one more time.
Lemosky.
For sure. And is there anything books or podcasts that you would recommend for folks that you listen to?
I'm a podcast head, a podcast girl. One of my favorite podcasts, it's with business, is How I Built This.
Okay.
I love that podcast. You're going to hear every founder from every which way on there. I also like my girls from Poor Minds. They're out in Atlanta. TZ Talks from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a podcast head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as you are, those are some great selections, by the way, because you gotta have your balance. But
yes.
Yeah, definitely mess with Guy Raz. Definitely love Poor Minds.
Yep.
Also, and then in terms of you having your own media journey, what's a funny moment that you've had on set or while doing content?
A funny moment on set. I can't think of a moment that was outrageous, but just being able to hear people's stories and having adults talk freely and they partner or whoever they sit on the couch with wait, what? When that happened, I didn't know anything about that. Is always hilarious because it just really shows that we don't be talking to each other like that. We got to pull it out of each other. We have to ask these open-ended questions and just let people speak freely, and then you'll learn something.
Bonus question in terms of that. When you said you had people come on with their parents, what were those conversations like?
Oh, they were so deep. So a lot of those conversations were do you feel like you were supported by your mother? Do you feel like you were supported by your father? Tell me about a time that they showed up for you. Tell me about a time where you felt like they had it. And a lot of the beautiful stories were coming from the parents themselves. Hey, my parents didn't do this. I was kind of learning as I went with y'all. So everything that I gave y'all was what I had. And we know that. We know that as adults, and, parents ourselves. But to hear your parents say, I could only give you what I had. I could only love you in the way that I was loved. It's really eye-opening. Dang, you're right. You're right. I did want more for you. I did want you to show up at my games. I did want you to, be in the kitchen with me, teaching me how to cook. But you had to work 2 and 3 jobs to put the food on our table. So you couldn't show up for me in that way. And I think that a lot of us slight our parents for things that they didn't give us or didn't show us, didn't teach us, but we didn't realize that they were humans. They were people learning and growing themselves.
That's right. For sure. Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays.
Yes.
Even though you didn't bring no bars.
Listen, I ain't got no bars, y'all. Not today.
For sure. So I would love to know if you could talk to us about the growth of Full Circle TV and then the entities that you have within that? And along the way, what were kind of like the steps in terms of, so you created the series,
Yep.
but what steps did you take to get there? Because I'm kind of thinking about the people who may be interested in getting into media some way, shape, or form, whether they want to do YouTube, they want to do social media content, whatever case may be. But in terms of like recording, editing, equipment, stuff like that, how did you start to actually build the blocks in order to get that first show going?
Man, when I tell you we were truly grassroots, we started with one camera. When I say we, the team was my husband and myself.
Mm-hmm.
We started with one camera, so we didn't have a bunch of angles. It was straight on. You looking at them the whole time. We started with one camera. We started with some lapel mics and maybe some lights we got off of off of Amazon. And when I tell you we rented a Airbnb our first time, I was like, okay, we're going to do this in the living room. I got some food catered for the folks that were coming in. I was like, if they're going to be telling us their stories, let's have some craft for them. Like, let's have something for them to eat on, drink on, or something to, get them ready to have these conversations. So we did that in a weekend. We had 3 couples come on, talk about the highs and lows of their relationships. And from there, we went home and we started to edit. So we were still working full-time jobs. And when we get home from work, I'll be editing. I'll be editing at work sometimes. Sometimes I'm like so thirsty that I will leave work early, go home and edit the show. I reached out to a guy that I knew. He was a singer. I said, hey, could we use your song for our theme song? My husband came up with the intro for the show, just like some videos of them laughing and talking. And we threw some credits on the end of that thing. We rolled it out and it was a success. And when I tell you, I was afraid originally to say that it was me because I was trying something new and I was afraid to be seen like, what's she doing now? And who she thinks she is? Oh, now she producing television shows. I was so fearful. So when the couples were there at the recording, I said, hey, I'm going to post this like I'm somebody else. I'm posting for somebody else. Don't tell nobody this is me. Don't tell nobody it's me. It took for one of those guys that was sitting on our couch to say, you're afraid. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not afraid of anything. Like, I'm not afraid. I'm doing it, ain't I? He like, no, you afraid for people to see you in this light. You are afraid. So when he told me that, it kind of like made me defensive, but then it also was like, you right. And now, let me show my face. So the pandemic happened and I started going live and started to talk about the thing that I was producing. And when I tell you the show was doing well without me, but it really did well once people got to see the person that was behind it and why they were creating it and all of the things. Like, I learned in that moment that people want to see you on your journey. You can't just come with a developed product and think that it's going to do well by itself. No, they want to know who doing this and why.
Yeah, because people make that connection with, I always say that people do business with people and not brands or businesses.
Absolutely.
And they want to be able to have that attachment, especially like the world that we live in. That's kind of like why a lot of TikTok, the most unpolished content on TikTok goes viral, because people are just like, they basically say you pretty much make the content like you on FaceTime, like you're just talking to people and just kicking it. And that's what people resonate with nowadays. That's the world that we live in.
Yeah, we don't want the polished thing anymore. We don't want the cute aesthetics. We want to know that you in the house making some noodles. Like, we want to know your regular life. Like, that's what we want to see.
Right. And at that period in time, when you are getting started, how did you measure success? Because that's something that I start to think about now in terms of trying to scale and grow the things that I'm doing. But I try to put myself back in my shoes when I first started. And it was about the thing, at least for me, and like just getting it off. But did y'all have any other measures of success? Like, we want this many viewers, we want this many episodes, or et cetera?
Originally, I did see success as the number of followers that we had following Full Circle Television. And that was my thing. Like, get everybody to follow this thing. But then slowly but surely, I found success in the things that people were saying. People will write me out the blue and say, this show makes me feel less alone in the things that I'm going with. This show has helped me have this conversation with my partner. This show showed me so much about myself that I wasn't even thinking about or unpacking. So that's where I started to see the success. It was the impact that it had on people's lives.
That's amazing. And Have you had any, well, before I ask this, because I don't want to forget this question, have y'all done your own episode of Relationship Goals?
It isn't on relationship goals, but in our journey to marriage, we did sit down with our marriage counselor and we recorded that whole episode.
Oh, wow.
So that's like on our personal YouTube page.
Okay.
And man, if I go back and watch that right now, we've changed and we have grown so much, but people can definitely search it and find it on our YouTube. But yeah, we started with our own episode, just sitting down with our therapist, and she asking real life questions like, what y'all gonna do when this happen as y'all are married, and how y'all gonna handle this and all of these things.
And now you look back on it like,
yes, I'm like, girl, you are crazy. You ain't know nothing about nothing, girl. Like I was definitely the girl was like, female friends? He ain't had no female friends. Like, you learn and you grow.
Right. For sure. And I got to ask you, what was your connection to Detroit? And then when did that start? Because I got familiar with your platform through Barry's Got to Eat, the Uprising Network.
Yep.
And then seeing your work there. And so wondering, how was that connection built?
Yeah, so I met a friend in Milwaukee that is originally from Detroit. She moved to Milwaukee for work. And we really hit it off. And I'm just like, hey, I want to know more about where you come from. I don't think at that point I've ever been to Detroit at that point. So we just got super cool. And yeah, we kind of just mixed and mingled. And I met Barry on Instagram. And we developed a relationship. And I came down here for my homegirl. She had an event. She came back home and had her event. And she was like, well, I really can't host you like that. I'm going to be working on my event. I don't want you to come and feel, like you're just all alone in this city. I was like, girl, I meet people on Instagram. I'm getting up with them at the coffee shop. I got plans when I get to Detroit. You good. You good. And listen, I've been here on my own ever since, just coming back to the city.
Dope. And then, so you built that connection with Barry first virtually and then got a chance to meet him in person. And then, so how did you all, or what was it like for you recording content, working together and recording content? Because granted, you don't live here.
Yeah.
So coming in town to do content and work on the series Got to Eat.
So originally, I just wanted to meet him because he was in the same lane that I was in, Black media for, a Black city or whatever. So I just wanted to meet him. We had no talks of working together or anything like that. I just was like, hey, I would like to rub elbows with somebody that's doing the same thing that I'm doing. We met up at a coffee shop or a diner somewhere on the east side of Detroit, and we had a good time. We kicked it, we laughed, and we went our separate ways. I went back home. I think I came here again. We got up again and did breakfast or lunch or something. Still not talking about working together. And I think that that's the beauty of just relationship building, is not putting the pressure on. When we gonna work? What can we do? What you got for me? Right. We just was hanging out and we was just having a good time and building a rapport with each other. Then Barry came to Milwaukee in the summertime. Milwaukee is the best place to come in the summertime. He came and he hung out with us. He went home and he like, hey, I got something for you. I got something that I want you to host. And I'm like, okay, I'm a foodie. I would love to do this thing with you. Came out to Detroit, recorded the first season, my first season. I think that it was his second season of Gotta Eat. And it was a hit. I met so many dope people while I was there. And he Kayla, I like what you did on camera, on screen. I got to have you back. So I came back for the third season. So I've been back and forth from Milwaukee to Detroit over the last 2 years hosting Gotta Eat.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope. And then, so in comparison, I would love to know about the Milwaukee content creator, media, entertainment scene, because here in the city, we have folks like myself, we have Barry, we have our homie JG, there are people in the millennial space, but then even beyond us, people who've been doing it a lot longer, in terms of being focused on culture-based storytelling and media. And so I would love to know, what does that look like in Milwaukee from your perspective?
It's growing. I think that podcasting really became popular maybe in Milwaukee in 2016. So there's a guy out there, we call him the Podfather of Milwaukee. He has put on so many podcasts, and just helped them develop their content, but then also record them and promote them and all of these things. So shout out to Everyday Media in Milwaukee. They do a lot for the podcast scene. And then we also have, the guys that are out here doing the Tubi movies and the shows and the The
Y'all
radio
got a to be seen
content.
in Milwaukee?
We got a to be seen in Milwaukee.
Wow, I did not know.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we got a to be seen in Milwaukee. So we kind of cousins with Detroit. Like when it comes to this content creation space, like we out here hitting the ground just like y'all are.
And I started to realize that from when I had the friend that you had mentioned was Shay.
Yep.
Ghetto Mantras, who's been on the podcast
Yep.
before. And when I started following her content and noticed that she was out in Milwaukee, and then got exposed to your content, and then I believe it's maybe like one or two other content creators based in Milwaukee that I ended up following and I noticed like you said, the fun that y'all be having in the summer,
Yep.
and how it'd be lit, and then also just kind of what that scene looks like and like the intentionality around the blackness and the media. And then so I started to notice, I'm like, okay, they got motion over there, but I didn't know to what extent, because once I still ain't never been to Wisconsin once, but never been to Milwaukee yet.
Listen, we gonna bring you out in the summertime and you gonna have a great time.
For sure.
A great time.
For sure. Gotta make that 6-hour drive.
Yeah. Quick, easy.
Y'all got a train that go out there?
We do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we sure do.
All right.
Now, that may take about 12 hours, but yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll drive. Yeah,
okay.
I ain't trying to be on nobody's train for half a day. I'm good.
Right.
For sure. So, in terms of like the types of content that take a step back. So you have different branches of FCTV.
Yep.
And so I would love to be able to talk about the game nights that you host, and like how did that start? Because those also look like a wonderful time.
Great time. Full Circle Television game night started because our first ever event was a couples retreat. We took 5 couples up in the sticks, like in the woods, in a cabin, and we had our very own couples retreat for the weekend, which was a beautiful experience. Of course, when we got to posting that online, people said, you need to do something for the single people. You have to do something for us. And I was like, well, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of single people up in a cabin. I'm not doing it. I'm not being the host of that thing. So what I could do for y'all is do a game night in a public space. We could get together for a couple of hours. We could play spades, dominoes, some Family Feud style games on the stage, and we could have a great time. I started that, I think 2021 maybe was the first FCTV game night. And it was still during COVID, so we shouldn't have been together in the first place, but we needed each other, and I knew that we needed each other. So I was like, we gonna break all the rules, and if y'all willing to come out, we gonna have this thing. Sold out, and it was a blizzard that day. It was in February 2021. It was a blizzard that day. Everybody and their mama came out to this game night, and I knew we had something because I'm like, we've been missing each other, being locked away during quarantine, during this horrible pandemic. We need each other. That game night happened. People was posting their videos and pictures saying how much fun they had. They like, when's the next one? I had no intention on this thing keep going. Like, I was like, I'm going to just do a one-time event or something like that. I had no intention for this thing to keep on going. We've done FCTV game night now 8 times in the city of Milwaukee. And we've also taken it abroad and done it in Paris, Egypt, Curacao, Thailand, and now we just got back from Tokyo.
Wow.
Yes. So, yeah, this thing has grown its own legs and became its own entity.
I was taking a look at pictures from Tokyo, and I definitely was jealous. I've been wanting to go to Japan forever.
Oh, man, you got to go.
High school. Yeah, so,
you got to go.
So what is it like curating those international experiences now?
Man, so at first we did it all on our own, no travel agent. You know, we just kind of took people to places that we had been before. So Paris, we went for our honeymoon. So I kind of knew the landscape of Paris. I knew where to go kind of thing. It's like, it kind of felt like home to me. So I felt comfortable and safe, bringing people out to Paris. From there, I was like, I want to do another grand trip, some bucket list stuff. Let's go to Egypt. I ain't ever been to Egypt before. I was kind of afraid of that one, but we got 47 Black people to come to Egypt with us. I linked up with a travel agent, traveling auntie, and she planned everything. We had tour guides, security, we had drivers, we had our hotel accommodation and all of our excursion planned out. So it has been a breeze now that I've partnered up with a travel agent.
And how often are you doing the game nights and also the traveling trip?
So game nights are now annual. I used to do them quarterly. That's a expensive feat. So now game nights are annually, as well as We Be Abroad. It's also an annual trip that we do every February to celebrate Black History Month.
Very dope.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you about, because I try to expose people more to what they can expect from a financial standpoint when it comes to any profession that people come on the podcast
Yep.
and talk about. So in terms of the work that you do now, what are the opportunities or biggest opportunities in order to get back? So like have you been able to curate, being able to be compensated for your expertise and your work?
So originally it was merch. I was like, let's go ahead and get some merch. But there's only so far that these $20 shirts can take you. You know what I mean? So we started with merch, and I quickly saw that events were the easiest and the fastest way to scale and get money for all of the things that we were doing. So SCTV Game Night has been super profitable. The merch has been as well, but the events, I can get more people in one space at one time, and then I can even bubble and have a merch table, which I do at every single event. So now I got you in here. We have sponsors on deck, so people have given us revenue for that. We have ticket sales, so that's another stream of revenue. And then we also, a lot of times, we have a Black Business Boulevard. So we have a vendor section, so we get revenue from that, and then also from our own merch table. So there's several different ways of revenue. I am just getting into the space now, doing my seasonal podcast, learning how to get ads on the podcast. And now that has also brought in additional stream of revenue.
How you been doing that? I'm curious. Asking for a friend.
Listening and reaching out to my community. Hey, like, I do a lot of business with a lot of business owners in Milwaukee, like do a lot of consulting. Like they'll say like, Kayla, what should we have on our menu? Or what kind of events should we be doing? And how do we curate this space to make people stay and spend money? So I do a lot of consulting in that sense. So it's like, hey, we have this relationship. Let me promote your thing or the thing that I am doing, and I can get people there, and it'll be X amount of dollars.
Very dope.
Yep.
And in terms of partnerships, brand deals, those opportunities, how do you tackle those? How do you go after those?
I haven't gotten a brand deal per se. I could say that it's just been like relationships with the people that I already know out in the community that have businesses. And I say, hey, this is what I can offer you. This is what I can provide you, whether that be coming into your establishment, doing a reel, or, just talking about it on my social media. And I like to do everything like super organically, so it can kind of just feel like, oh, she just really likes that space.
Yeah.
Versus I have this partnership. I try to keep those things like low.
Yeah.
She has this partnership, and this is why she's telling us to go there. I like to go into the space and like show people the experience.
Like,
so they
I actually
go.
be in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus this is so good. Yeah.
Like, girl, that sounds like it's disgusting.
Somebody off camera with a gun to your back.
Right. Like, delicious. No, I try to give people the real deal experience. And if I didn't have a good experience, I'm just not saying nothing about it.
Exactly. Yeah. In terms of, because you're a fellow content creator, so living in the digital world with your content and being able to have so many people engage with it, I want you to talk about, because you mentioned you do a lot of events now. Why would you say it's important for people who are in the media space, content creation, to do live events? Why would you say that's important?
Man, when I tell you, I didn't even know what experiential marketing was. I just knew that I wanted to get my people into the space. Now, after doing it for the last 6 years, I understand that this is how we touch on our people. This is how we reach our people. The first ever FCTV Game Night, we did it in like a bar, tavern, banquet space. And on all of the TVs, I made sure that our show was playing. All of the cups had our logos on it. So people think that they are coming here and they having a great time. And we are producing a great event. You are going to have a good time. But I'm shoving this in your face. Like, you gonna know exactly why you are here. And then that builds the community, that builds the trust, that builds the love for Full Circle Television. So if people are thinking like, I can have an event, like it don't make sense for me to do like a game night for a media brand. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Like, because you are bringing your community together and meeting them where they are, as long as you know who your community is. I knew that our community were business owners, they were couples, they were entrepreneurs. I knew that they were hood adjacent. I knew that they grew up in church. I knew all of these things about my people. So I knew the things that they would like. I knew that they would like to play spades. I knew that they were super competitive. I knew at the time that we were developing FCTV Game Night that they had been in the house all by themselves for the last year. So I knew that they needed a place to come and let their hair down and have a great time. So I'm telling anybody that has a brand, whether that be a media brand, a clothing brand, whatever it is, think of a way with your people in mind of a way that you can get them into one space and curate an event for them that speaks directly to them. And I'm telling you, your community is going to flourish and grow.
That's dope. I gotta take that into consideration. I've done some live events, but I don't have none as of yet on the calendar for 2020. Actually, no, that's a lie, because I've already done a live event for 2026, but some stuff that's more podcast focused. I've done like a community focused event, but I want to do some more like podcast focused, like the immersive stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you have any, if I can get some free consultation from you, have
Let's do
any
it.
ideas that might work out for Black Fridays based on what you know about the podcast?
I think that y'all for sure should do something on Black Friday. I don't know where the name stems from, but I would like to see, because I heard on the podcast that I was listening to coming up here that you're considering doing merch and you want to be able to roll out merch. I think that having a event that introduces your merch would be really, really dope. But you gotta, like, what is it called? Hiding the medicine in the candy or something like that. You got to have people thinking that they're just coming to an event to support you and just hang out and have a good time. But the whole time you have your shirts hanging from the ceilings. You throwing stuff out like it's a basketball game. You giving out free merch. But then you also have this table to like sell and produce your merch at the same time. Being on stage and doing a live podcast, but making it super interactive, I think is the key. Is like, I don't want to just come see you talk on the stage. I want to be a part of the conversation. So you can be on the stage, but having somebody in the audience is super important, because then people feel like they are a part of this journey. Not only that, I think that every event needs to be Instagrammable, because your people that come to your events, they market the things for you. So if it is Instagrammable, which means it's cute, you got like dope artwork or cute colored drinks or something like that, your logo needs to be on everything, and you need to make people want to take pictures and post it to their Instagram and tag Black Fridays. And that's really going to grow the brand.
See, that's why they pay you the big bucks.
Yes.
I'm starting to see the vision now. Yeah, I like that. I like that, especially because I was thinking about whenever I did release merch, attaching it to like a specific day. But I like more so the concept of being able to do something on that's focused around the podcast, and then obviously have the merchandise be around that. So a special event. So Black Friday special event coming soon whenever I get my act together and get this merch together.
You gonna get it together. And ain't nothing wrong with attaching it to a day either. So y'all just had 313 day for y'all area code. We are 414. So we have a big old 414 day.
Really?
And yes, it's huge. And I make these shirts and these hats that say rooting for everybody from Milwaukee, 414 love, we all we got. And at first I used to just drop those shirts sporadically in different colorways. And then I realized like, girl, drop this on April 14th or a little bit before April 14th. And when I tell you, the whole city be in my merch like for that day. And you would think that it would stop there. Like, oh, people ain't gonna care about it after this. No, that's just the first stop of the year. Then we got Juneteenth. They come in and selling my booth out at Juneteenth. Like, so these one shirt, one colorway lasts me the whole year. All I got to do is keep putting in orders to reproduce them. So it ain't nothing wrong with attaching something to a day. I think that when you create merch, it definitely has to speak to your people. I don't personally like a logo. Let me say this. I don't personally like to wear merch that just says Black Friday on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, say something that speak to me so I can rock it and wear it, you know?
Right. And put some personality to it.
Yep.
Love that. So I would love to ask you, given your experiences in Detroit and then obviously being from Milwaukee, if you could talk to people from Detroit, what would you say to encourage them to pull up and visit Milwaukee, and vice versa, the people in Milwaukee, what would you say to them to encourage them to pull up to Detroit?
I would say for the people that's coming from Detroit to Milwaukee, come and expand your horizons. Like, I know that y'all are true to y'all city. Y'all are Detroit through and through. Y'all got your own little community, but come learn a little something about us, and we can, like, swap ideas. We can get together. We can build community across the area codes and really just be like cousins, be like an extended family, an extended resource to each other. I really believe that me coming to Detroit was not by accident. Me meeting Givenchy was not by accident. Like, all of these things have been like laid out so that we can have this synergy, so we can have this connection amongst the two cities. So bring yourselves to Milwaukee, and I'm gonna continue to come to Detroit and bring my people to Detroit.
Love that. Love that. Have you brought anybody else to Detroit so far?
I have not, but I've been telling people to get here.
Okay.
I've been putting people onto y'all music. Every time I'm here, I'm posting. People are like, girl, can we just get a van and go over there with y'all? Like, can we just hang out with y'all? Yeah, we're going to be back in the summertime with a bunch of folks.
Okay. I got an idea. We talk about it off camera, but it's probably further down the line. But I think I got an idea that might be able to bring the cities together.
Y'all heard them.
And so, what do you have? What do you see right now in the future? What are you all working towards, and what is in your crystal ball for yourself and for Full Circle TV?
Man, I really want to get into this podcast space and create a bunch of different podcasts. So I have one that I did this holiday season. It's called Holiday Season with Kay and Ray. Shout out to my co-host, Raina. I want to bring that back, but more in a weekly episodes instead of just the seasonal podcast. And then I want to develop a whole bunch of other podcasts that really hits the culture and meets the culture where they are, and kind of expand that across the whole entire Midwest, because there are some people that I know not only in Detroit, but in Indiana that I want to work with in the near future. So I really want to just grow my footprint across the Midwest.
It's a little random, but relevant because it's Midwest, and you had mentioned Indiana. Do you watch Pop the Balloon with Too Cold at all?
I seen one of those, and then I see them once they like come up on my timeline, but I don't really get into it because I was like, is this even real? Are y'all playing? Like, what is this?
Some people come on there playing. A lot of people come on there playing, but yeah, no, it's very real. They've been to Detroit, I think 3 or 4 times. We've been to Flint once or twice, and then he's from Indiana, so he's been there. Been to Chicago multiple times. I don't know if he's been to Milwaukee yet. If he's been to Milwaukee, I gotta check that episode out.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be hilarious because we some funny people. We some funny people in Milwaukee. Listen.
That's what I feel like you get the true, like, people can say what they want about that content, but I feel like that's when you get the true essence of kind of like what the post of the real, like, everyday city people are like. Black people, I should say. Yeah. Like, that's where you get the post of like what's really
what they really like, what they really own. Yeah.
Even though like people in there for theatrics, but I think like just the energy, you like the way they talk, the way they act, like things that they
the way we dress, the way we wear our hair. Like, people always say like they could tell a Milwaukee dude from nowhere because like they get their lineups different. We got a different style. Yeah.
So before we get up out of here, you gotta teach us some Milwaukee slang. So what is some Milwaukee slang that you haven't heard anywhere else that you know that's true to your city?
On what?
So what that mean?
On what? It is so hard to explain to anybody from Milwaukee. Probably like, girl, how is you about to explain this? On what? We say this in response to you telling me a story. You telling me a story like, oh yeah, I ran into Jay-Z last night. Like, on what? Okay. So it's like, are you for real? Are you serious? Okay. But then it can also be like, on what? Like, dang, that's crazy. Okay. So on what? It's a Milwaukee slang through and through, for sure.
That's like dog in Detroit. Like,
what's dog?
Dog can mean all types of things. It could be like, let me see how I can do this and give it justice. Yeah, y'all remember dog from high school.
Okay,
or it could be dog, you wouldn't believe what happened. Like, it's a,
yeah, you can just use it however. Right, like, it's versatile. Yeah, that's definitely on what? On what? Like, that's crazy. On what?
What else y'all be saying out there?
What? A lot of people think that they are P's. Like, a lot of people think that they are like pimps, players. Okay. So it's like, that's P. Like, you P. Okay. Like, you a P. Yeah, like you be chilling. Like, if somebody come step on your toes or something in the bar and you just like, oh, ain't no thing. Like, you good or whatever. That's like, oh, that was real P. Like, he was smooth with that.
Okay.
He handled that well.
For sure. How would you describe the Milwaukee scene in terms of fashion? Because you mentioned y'all got y'all own style.
Yeah. We are vibrant. We are very, very vibrant. When I would say that, when I think about Detroit's, y'all are wearing y'all minks, y'all are wearing y'all Cardis, like y'all have a specific look.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like do whatever floats our boat. We do our own thing. Like we don't have a uniform. I feel like in Detroit, y'all kind of got a
It's your
uniform. It ain't a
uniform.
bad thing,
Right.
but y'all have a kit. Like
Right.
y'all got a
For sure.
kit.
For sure.
We kind of do our own thing. Like you may see people in like vibrant colors. You may see them with like purple, green, orange hair. We have people that wear beautiful locks, wraps, Phillies, like fades, all of these things. Like everybody has their own personal style.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Any parting words for the folks who may be interested in getting into your space and the thing that you do currently in terms of entertainment and media? Any words of encouragement for those folks?
Hey, if you are looking to get into it, I'm going to take these words right from my husband. When I told him that I wanted to do this thing, I wanted to get into this media space, but I was scared that I didn't have any connections. I didn't know Oprah. I don't know any of these people. He told me, looked me dead in my face, and said, just do it. I'm like, how? How am I do it? Like, I had so many questions. He like, just do it. If you got to pull your phone out, if you got to go ask your family members for their old camera that you see is collecting dust, if you got to go just spend your tax check or whatever you got to do to make this thing happen, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
And I want to see, because I forgot to ask you this earlier, but I want to see if it all kind of comes full circle, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
What is your professional background before you got into all of this? What did you do as a career?
So as a career, I've always been in the community space. I've always been in nonprofit. So I've always been with the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always heard the stories, whether that be like in mental health or if that be like mostly mental health or anything like dealing with the community. I've always been in the nonprofit space.
So this makes sense in terms of like the community focus around what it is that you do and trying to be able to put your people on, expose them to new things, and being able to shine a light on that realm.
Yeah. I've always been with the people. We didn't get into this part of it, but my parents are ministers. So I've always been for the people. I've always been at, the church house doing things, giving back to the community. We would have these things, my family call it like a free shopping experience. And on Thanksgiving, we would have our Thanksgiving with our whole entire family at the church. And we would invite the community to have Thanksgiving dinner with us. And each family would bring in things that were still in good condition that we didn't need anymore. And we would allow the community to shop during that time. So I've always had community at the front of my mind since a child.
That's phenomenal. So yeah, definitely see how it all ties together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so where can the people tap in with y'all? Where can they find you if they want to follow the journey? They want to come to some events. They ready to pull up to Milwaukee. They want to do a game night. How can they tap in?
You can hit us up on Full Circle Television on Instagram. Our YouTube is Full Circle Television, fullcircletelevision.com. And if you want to reach out to me personally, I'm at Kayla Lewis Allen everywhere.
Perfect. Well, Kayla, we definitely appreciate you making this pit stop while you were in town. And as I had mentioned to you, definitely seeing a lot of overlap in terms of what I do with Black Fridays and what it is that you do with Full Circle TV and making sure that we shine a light on our people in our communities respectively. So it's dope to see somebody doing something in a similar lane in a completely different city, but clearly there's some synergy between the cities in terms of the blackity blackness. So,
Yes.
So definitely appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to be back with my people. So y'all, lay the red carpet out for us.
For sure. Say less. Say less. And everybody watching and listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.